Singapore has long been one of Asia's biggest tourism success stories. For decades, visitors from around the world flocked to the city-state to experience its futuristic skyline, luxury shopping districts, world-famous attractions, and reputation for safety and efficiency. But in 2026, some workers say something has changed. Employees in hotels, restaurants, retail stores, and tourism-related businesses have begun noticing unusual patterns. Areas that were once crowded with international visitors don't seem as busy as they used to be. Tour groups appear smaller. Tourist hotspots that once had long lines now experience periods of unexpected quiet. For many workers, the difference is hard to ignore. Some say they first noticed the shift during what should have been peak travel periods. Others describe seeing fewer foreign visitors walking through shopping districts that were once packed from morning until late at night. Naturally, this has raised an important question. What exactly is happening? Is Singapore becoming too expensive for international travelers? Are tourists choosing other destinations instead? Or are travel habits changing in ways that few people expected? The answer may be more complicated than it seems. Across travel forums and social media platforms, opinions are divided. Some travelers still describe Singapore as one of the best destinations in the world. Others say they no longer see the same value they once did. Meanwhile, workers on the ground continue witnessing changes firsthand. Today, we're exploring why some Singapore workers believe tourist numbers are under pressure in 2026. What visitors are saying about their experiences, and whether this trend represents a temporary slowdown or a major shift in the future of Singapore tourism. And according to many workers, the biggest reason may surprise you. For many workers, one explanation keeps coming up over and over again: money. Singapore has never been a cheap destination. In fact, it has spent years ranking among the most expensive cities in the world. In the past, tourists were willing to accept higher prices because they felt the experience justified the cost. But in 2026, workers say more visitors are questioning whether that's still true. Hotels can be expensive. Popular attractions often require separate tickets. Dining costs vary widely, but visitors staying in tourist areas can find themselves spending far more than expected. Even simple activities can quickly add up. Workers in the hospitality sector say they frequently hear travelers comparing Singapore with neighboring countries. Places like Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia often offer lower accommodation costs, cheaper food, and longer vacations for the same budget. Many tourists aren't necessarily saying Singapore is bad. Instead, they're asking a different question. If they can spend the same amount of money elsewhere and enjoy a longer trip, why choose Singapore? This shift in thinking appears to be influencing travel decisions. Some workers report seeing more short-stay visitors rather than travelers spending an entire week exploring the city. Others say tourists increasingly use Singapore as a stopover before heading to other destinations. But cost isn't the only concern. According to workers, another issue is quietly changing how people view Singapore before they even arrive. And it has less to do with prices and more to do with expectations. Singapore's greatest strength may also be creating an unexpected challenge. The city is famous around the world. Its skyline appears in countless travel videos. Its attractions dominate social media feeds. Millions of people have seen photos of the same landmarks again and again. Workers say this constant exposure may be affecting how tourists think about visiting. Years ago, traveling to Singapore felt like discovering something new. Today, many visitors arrive feeling as though they've already experienced the city through their screens. Before booking a flight, travelers can watch hundreds of videos showing every major attraction, every famous viewpoint, and every popular destination. Some tourism workers believe this reduces the sense of mystery. Visitors often arrive with detailed plans, check off famous locations, take photos, and move on. The excitement of discovery that once encouraged longer stays may not be as strong as it used to be. Workers also report that repeat visitors are becoming harder to attract. First-time tourists still come, but convincing them to return can be difficult when they feel they have already seen the highlights. At the same time, travelers are increasingly searching for unique experiences that feel authentic and difficult to replicate online. That creates a problem. When people believe they've already seen Singapore through social media, they may decide to spend their travel budget somewhere that feels more unfamiliar or adventurous. Singapore is no longer competing against just a handful of destinations. It is competing against an entire region that has become one of the most popular travel markets in the world. Across Southeast Asia, governments and tourism industries have invested heavily in attracting international visitors. New airports, luxury resorts, improved transportation systems, and aggressive marketing campaigns are transforming neighboring destinations. Workers say tourists now have more choices than ever before. A traveler planning a trip to Asia can compare dozens of destinations within minutes. They can choose tropical beaches, mountain retreats, cultural experiences, historical sites, or adventure tourism, often at significantly lower costs. As a result, Singapore faces a much tougher environment than it did just a decade ago. Some workers believe this competition is changing visitor behavior. Instead of spending a full vacation in Singapore, travelers increasingly split their time between multiple countries. A few days in Singapore followed by a week somewhere else has become a common travel strategy. For local businesses, that matters. Even if visitor numbers remain relatively strong, shorter stays can reduce spending across hotels, restaurants, shops, and attractions. Workers say they notice the difference. The city remains busy, but the spending patterns and travel habits appear to be changing. Yet despite these concerns, one surprising fact keeps emerging. Many tourists who actually visit Singapore leave with positive impressions, which raises an important question. If visitors enjoy their experience, why do so many potential travelers hesitate to come in the first place? And that leads directly to another challenge Singapore faces in 2026. Competition has never been stronger. Singapore has reinvented itself many times throughout its history. From a small trading hub to a global financial center and tourism powerhouse, the country has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to evolve. Many workers believe it can do so again. The real question isn't whether tourists are abandoning Singapore forever. The question is whether Singapore can continue giving travelers fresh reasons to visit in an increasingly competitive world. For now, opinions remain divided. Some workers insist visitor activity feels slower than before. Others argue that tourism isn't disappearing at all. Instead, it's simply changing shape. One thing is certain: the travel industry is evolving, and every destination must evolve with it. Whether Singapore emerges stronger or faces greater challenges ahead is something only time will reveal. And that makes the next chapter of Singapore's tourism story one worth watching very closely.